Hi, this is John Byrne with Poets and Quads.
Sandy Kreisberg, the HBS guru.
Indeed, we're here for another edition of Handicapping Your Elite MBA Odds. We have a really interesting candidate. He's a first-gen college student who actually joined the military at the age of 19, U.S. Army, and he joined the MP, the military police. He served in the military for 6 years before going to undergraduate school. He is now in his final year. He has a 720 GMAT. His GPA is rather low. It's 3.1 with an economics major and a minor in Mandarin, which may be really difficult, I would think.
That's a surprise.
Yep, we think he's about 28 or 29 years of age. And of course he wants to go to business school, and he has a wide array of schools that he's chosen to target.
720 GMAT, that helps a lot.
That indeed.
What we got here is an unusual case of a military guy who was not an officer, not ROTC, joined the military out of high school or even before high school, spent a long time in the military, was active in the military police, both at Fort Hood and in Afghanistan for 3 years. So he's been in a conflict zone, that's a plus. He won a lot of awards in the military. He was the first one to be promoted early to this leadership program and that leadership program. So for a guy who joined the military as a private, he had a pretty admirable military career. Then he goes to a branch of the University of Texas. He says top 20, so that's probably a community college.
In Texas State.
Or Texas State.
Right. Mm-hmm. As I was saying to John,
the GPA of 3.1 is unfortunate because that's recent. Okay, so a lot of people who went to college then joined the military and then get out of the military say, oh yeah, those low grades in college were before I went to the military and grew up.
Right, I was a little immature,
Yeah.
I should have taken my studies more seriously,
Right.
Blah, 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 right?
Yeah, so the 3.1 is a tough nut to crack for this guy. And then, does he say what he wants to do?
Yes, he wants to be a consultant.
Big Four consulting or MBB.
Mm-hmm. And his target schools: Cornell, Dartmouth, and Yale. That's round one. Berkeley, Duke, and Michigan, round two. And he's asking you, Sandy, how realistic are Yale and Dartmouth in particular?
They're going to have to swap. He's Hispanic. We mentioned that.
I don't think we did. We said he was first generation.
First generation, U.S. citizen, Hispanic. So that's a certified underrepresented minority. So that's a big plus. You've got a Hispanic male with a 720 GMAT. I got a feeling that's a rare cohort.
That's a good score for him.
So what he's got to do at those schools is find someone. He's got to do two things. He's got to find someone who likes him, someone who really gets behind the first gen military up from private to sergeant, and then he's got to kind of pass the sniff test. You see, the guy doesn't have any anchor. He doesn't have any filter experience. That's what one of the things schools look for, even for first gen people, is have you ever attended an institution that kind of filtered you out? Okay. Now, what you could say is that the Army does that, and it certainly does. The question is, if this guy gets interviewed, is he going to present as a Army private, or is he going to present as a guy who was a leader? Is he just going to pass the sniff test at Ivy League schools or near Ivy League schools? That's the real issue.
Now, one thing we don't know is where he is in his journey. In other words,
Well,
is he
says
already applying?
Yeah, he says submitting my profile during my final year of
Yeah,
undergrad.
okay. So what I was going to say is he would be a good consortium candidate.
Yeah, for
Would
sure.
help package him and get him in front of the right people. Or there's an organization called Service to Schools, which is basically military volunteers who already have an MBA who are willing to help other people who want an MBA. You can get some free and easy help from both of those organizations. If you're an active applicant, obviously it would be too late to join the consortium, but you could get some help from Service to Schools, and that might be a good idea.
Yeah, they could round you out.
Yeah.
Because even the way he presented to us was it took a little bit to unpack it.
Yep. So, okay, his question about Yale and Dartmouth, the two most highly selective.
Okay, so he's
schools.
applying to these schools, what
Yeah.
we call what Sandy and John call the 18 to 24 bracket, which is schools where the admissions rate is 18 to 24%.
With the exception of Berkeley, where it'd be lower because the class size is smaller and it's in California and it's
So
a
we're
hot
talking
school.
Cornell, Dartmouth, Yale, Berkeley, Duke, Michigan.
Right.
So in some sense, you take out Berkeley, your odds are almost the same at all of these places. And it's just a question of whether somebody there, that's my point, whether somebody there just likes you.
Although Yale and Dartmouth will have higher GMAT scores and higher GPAs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, you got a chance. If it's really important for you to go to business school, none of these are safeties. Let me put it to you that way.
Okay, so the hardest is going to be Berkeley, Yale, and Dartmouth. What are the odds there for this guy? I love putting you on the spot like
Sure,
this.
20 to 25%.
20 to 25%. And then you have Cornell, which is a great school, and if he can convince them to take
Yeah, so
him,
the bigger
that'd
ones
be really
with-
good.
So the other schools within this 18 to 25 bracket of admissions percentage, the schools with lower GPA and GMATs, the odds go up.
Right. Cornell, Duke, and Michigan.
Yeah.
So we're looking at what, 30, 40%, would you say?
I don't think it's 40% anywhere.
Because of the 3.1
Yeah.
primarily, right? But he is Hispanic. He's got a nice
Hispanic male with a 7.
He's
yeah,
got a nice GMAT. He served his country
Let me
for
tell
6
you.
years.
Yeah, let me tell you this.
Okay.
The Hispanic male with the 720 could get you a close look at these places, and then you're on your own. So
Right.
by that I mean you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to go to an interview and convince them.
And you think in this case the interview is going to be really important, right?
It is as a sniff test.
Mhm.
In other words, there are guys who come out of the Army as sergeants, and from the schools, I want to choose my words very carefully here. From the school's point of view, they're not our type, meaning the school's type. In other words, by dint of whatever, your hobbies, the way you dress, what kind of operas you go to, they just go, we got a wide gate here, but you're a little how would they put it? You haven't been polished. You're a little unpolished for us.
So what do you mean? If you like La Boheme, it's not good. But if you like Tosca or Don Giovanni, maybe you have a shot.
No, I think if you like any one of those operas, you have a shot.
There you go.
I think if you show up with a boombox and
Playing hip hop.
playing heavy metal, I think
okay.
that's not so good. Yeah.
Okay, but lot to like here.
Hip hop.
First gen.
Hip hop has real academic integrity.
Okay.
There are departments that study that.
Okay, we've got a really likable guy though. He's first gen. He's Hispanic. He's a 720. He served his country for 6 years, including 3.5 years in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I got it.
And now he's going for undergrad. He got into only a Texas State University, but he's challenging himself with a minor in Mandarin.
You see,
no
that's
less.
an issue right
Okay?
there. If the guy had a 720 GMAT, I'm assuming his SAT scores were pretty good too.
Yeah, probably.
So there's a question: how come he couldn't go to a better college.
Right.
It might be family reasons for that.
Financial reasons.
Financial reasons, yeah, sure.
Exactly. Because the other thing that we know from research is that, in fact, underrepresented minorities tend to go to colleges that are close to their families
Yeah.
because their ties to their families are closer.
John is our
There you go. Okay.
wide-ranging expert.
And actually taking Mandarin
And the
as a minor
first
probably
gen-
dragged his GPA down.
the Mandarin thing is unusual.
Yeah.
You usually don't find first-gen college males, Hispanics, minoring in Mandarin.
I mean, if he minored in Spanish, his
From
GPA
Texas.
might be 3.4.
Yeah,
okay?
good point, right. Yeah,
Think about that.
good point.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, and then this point about first gen has now become a real issue with schools.
Yeah.
Tell-
Harvard just received a gift of over $10 million from a donor who wants that money for scholarships for first-gen students. So even Harvard is out
First-gen
there.
college students.
Yes, that's right. So Harvard is very interested in attracting these candidates as well.
It's become an issue of concern. The first-gen thing has become a national talking point. That's all. So that gives him more momentum.
Yeah, totally. All right, so we wish you the best of luck. We think you're going to beat the odds and get into some of these schools. I mean, one of the good things is that you've chosen a nice array of schools to apply to.
I said none of
right?
these are safety schools.
Yep. But, you
Boy.
know, Duke, Michigan are good bets. Cornell's a good bet for him.
720 Hispanic, 720
Yeah.
GMAT Hispanic male.
And he has a shot at Dartmouth in you. He
Yeah.
does. Legitimate shot. And impress on the interview. That's what Sandy said. I think he's right. Because they're going to be interested in you. They're going to call you in. They're going to look you over and how you do in terms of how articulate you are.
Don't screw up the interview.
Your professional presence.
This is
They
my-
can see you in a suit at a management consulting firm.
Don't screw up the
You're going to get in, okay? So don't screw it up. All right, this is John Byrne with Poets and Quants and my partner in crime, Sandy Kreisberg, wishing all of you a happy journey on the road to an MBA.